Hey there, welcome to M Angel Says. I'm M Angel and I am reviewing The Bachelorette Hannah season. Today we're going to be talking about episode 11's events. It was the Men Tell All episode that they have before the finale of the season. Okay, there's a lot to discuss, so I'm going to try to go through this quickly as usual. We start off with the host, Chris, telling everyone in a very somber audience that this episode is going to be treated differently. We're going to do something we've never done before. Every season, they do something they've never done before. Basically, last episode, Hannah had a date with Luke. Instead of taking him to the fantasy suite, she took him to the car and sent him on his way. Now we're back in Greece, Crete. The guys gather for the rose ceremony. You see Happy Peter just lit. Really, he has a light from the inside that shines. Tyler, beautiful as usual, but he says the right things, shows nothing. And then we have Jed. He's so cute, but he's like really shy. I don't know, maybe he's stoic in front of the cameras. And then blah, blah, blah. Hannah says things about being happy, independent, and free. And we have Luke on selfie cam saying, you know what? I think Hannah's making a mistake. I'm gonna fight for her. It's not over. I'm coming back. He's under the impression that she still loves him. And I love the little box with audience reactions. Priceless. Hannah arrives to the rose ceremony. Look at her, just like brilliantly flawless. She is shining. Her dress was not doing her any justice. This is the first dress of the whole season I don't agree with. But she is so beautiful. She looks like she's at peace. Like you've gotten rid of bad energy in your life. And now you can breathe again. She's talking to Chris and Chris is like, you have 3 men waiting for you. Chris, you part of production, okay? You know who's waiting. Meanwhile, the little sneakily sneaks into the lineup, acting like he been here, like he belongs, like ain't nothing going on. Chris asks her before she goes, you know what you're gonna do for sure? Just testing her like, I hope that you're really certain about yourself because we're gonna throw you a curveball. Of course, they make her come in at an angle where she doesn't see Luke immediately, and then she sees him and she's just like, what are you doing here? Obviously, I sent you home yesterday. He tries to be like, can I have a moment with you? And she's just like, I'm about to go psycho. You need to leave. Mama had moved on. She is not going back on her decision, and seeing him again didn't make her feel any type of regret or doubt. And he says he's not leaving until he has closure and clarity, and she almost explodes. What do you mean you need clarity and closure? How many conversations have we had, Luke? Like at this point, if you don't understand why I sent you home, you'll never understand. She's been very clear about how she feels, been very clear about what she's looking from him, and been very clear about him not giving her what she wants. On top of that, giving her what she doesn't want. Jed's face was so happy. He even thanked the Lord when he heard that she had sent him home, that she had clarity on the matter. He was just like, oh, thank God. Like this was Christmas for him. Oh my God. And the most epic of scenes when she's telling him, look, I'm sorry. I know it hurts to be sent home. I'm sorry if your heart is broken, but this is what it is. And he's like, no, my heart isn't broken because I'm still here and I'm still trying. Oh, well, you just sit right here, won't you? Let me take the podium and the roses and scoot myself away from you then. Man, she moved that podium. That was beautiful. And then you can see her. She's really getting emotional and frustrated. That's when the men step in, all protective of Hannah, their sweetheart. You know, they're like, okay, you know what, Luke? Have you no respect for her decision, for her choices, for the show? You are not wanted in this space. If you want clarity, you can text her later. You can send her an email. You can even find a way to call her in the future when the dust has settled. Now is not the time. Jed is legitimately pissed, has so much hatred to him. He's just get the F out, man. And I love Luke feels some kind of confidence in front of Jed. Yeah, make me go. And then Tyler steps in with his alpha male. It's like, what you gonna do? Huh? Or what? And you see Luke's face goes from tough guy to scary puppy. I don't know what. Then he says the most crazy, I don't know if this is scripted, but the kind of things you hear in a movie, but you never hear in real life. I know that the other night, a lot of things were said and you weren't really yourself in that last minute. Almost saying, I forgive you. You made a mistake. Let's work through this. It's not over. I still love you and I know you still love me. She's flabbergasted how condescending. I'm not myself? Okay. Gather round, children. Let me tell you the story of what happened last time Luke was with me. She tells them that he told her, if you slept with anyone in a fantasy suite, I would have to remove myself from the process. He says, I never said that. And she almost exploded. And I was just like, oh my God. Guys like that, they drive you bonkers. How about you? How do you feel about people who just deny their own words? Really? He's still on that. I know you still have feelings for me. She's like, I did. I had feelings for you longer than I would have wanted to. Slap. He says again his whole speech of, I misunderstood, never have I ever judged you, I would never judge you, da da da. Nobody's buying it. Hannah is just adamant, leave. He looks at her in the eyes and says, if you really want me to go, look me in the eyes and tell me you want me to leave. And she's like, yeah, go. Like, she doesn't blink once. He finally walks away. The guys are all celebrating. Jed is like, good riddance, kicking the ball out of the court. Hannah is just going through the motions, can't believe that just happened. Luke is walking off into who knows where, God knows where he's walking to. His hotel room, probably. Chris tells Hannah, you know that he had a wedding ring in his pocket? Like, he came to propose, and she is just befuddled. She can't believe this. In what universe does her saying, I'm breaking up with you, lead to, I want to propose? Like, are you serious, my boy? The guys are celebrating. Jed is so relieved. Like, they could just go home now. It doesn't even matter. Just the fact that Luke got kicked to the curb, that's enough for him. I love how Peter is all very calm in all this. He didn't confront Luke. He was protecting Hannah. He's always kind of sidelined to the drama. He like doesn't want to be in the drama. He's like, I'm here for love. Just makes my little heart beat for him that much more. And man, oh man, does he look good in that suit. Wow. Poor little Luke. Just left to wander the grasses of Greece alone. Then we finally have the talk in the studio. And we start off talking to Luke, who shaved. He looks so different. He looks like a little altar boy. But like altar man? Is that a thing? He's on his like Captain America vibe. Anyhow, I love Chris's interviewing style because as diplomatic as his face looks, he throws so much shade in his words. It's the best. He tells Luke, this isn't, a weird situation. The audience doesn't know whether to clap for you or not. Basically telling him, like, people don't know how they feel about you. Like, people partially hate you, partially like you. We never saw anyone do the things you did on the season. What were you hoping for? Like, he's basically saying, what were you thinking? Luke says he wanted clarity or closure. Fair. That's what everybody wants when exiting a relationship. Chris brings up, yeah, you kind of did tell her that she wasn't for you if she slept with other men. So, blink, 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 blink. Luke is like, you know what? I want to clarify that because that's been, I guess, edited to pieces. And what he said kind of made sense. They were talking about being born again, the people who they've had intercourse in their life. Then they find Jesus or the Lord or a renewed faith. And now they wait until they're married or whatever before they are intimate again with another person. I guess he must have talked to Hannah about that. I don't know. It's not clear if they've had conversations about that in the past, because if it was that important to him, I feel like that's something they should have addressed early on in their first conversations. That was something to talk about during hometowns, if anything. It's important to him, and it's important that the person he decides to propose to feels the same way. It's not the situation he wants for himself to be with a woman who slept with other guys days or weeks before he gets down on one knee to propose. I completely understand that, and he has the right. Even Chris says, respect. You have the right to want that from your partner. You say these things, but then you're with Hannah and she's not exactly fitting the mold of the woman you want. But at the same time, I'm sorry, I can't fault him because Hannah does the exact same thing to him. She told him, there are a lot of things I don't like about you, but I look past it and I tolerate them and I decide to stay with you despite the fact that I don't really like you. Apparently she hypothetically asked him, what if I did come to sleep with the other men in the fantasy suites? How would you react? Apparently he told her, I don't know how I'd react. Ideally, that's not what I want, and I would want to remove myself from the situation. I would want to go home. If it was in that kind of context, the way he said that, it's not so dramatic. But then it is up to Hannah to be like, well, then I'm going to disappoint you. For her to snap and be upset that, oh, so that's what it takes for you to go home, but I've been tolerant enough to accept all your flaws. Hannah. Y'all are just not meant to be together. They talk about it being love at first sight for both of them. The closest thing they've come to love at first sight. Chris acknowledges, yes, you guys did have a strong connection and you had love and all that stuff, but you guys had a very contentious relationship. And it seemed to be based on how you both interpreted your faith, because it's important to both of you, but you come at it differently. Then there's this awkward extended silence where Luke I don't even know what he's doing. He's just like sitting there. He says, excuse me, I'm getting choked up. I'm sorry. I read no emotion in his face whatsoever, except maybe discomfort with the situation or him trying to calculate the right thing to say. But his voice trembling when he was talking, there was nothing in his eyes. There was not an ounce of sadness. And the eyes are so the window to the soul. Even his forehead had no wrinkles, no fretting. Sorry. No, he's an actor. And Chris comes with the shade as usual. Are you a narcissist maybe, like a little bit. Thinks about it. No. The audience gasps. Oh, boy, what? At least have some self-awareness. He says, no, I'm maybe prideful and arrogant, but narcissistic is a stretch. Is it though? I've met narcissists. Oh my God, have I met narcissists now that I think about it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't call him a narcissist. Stubborn, arrogant, selfish? Sure. Narcissistic? A smidgen maybe. When he was asked if he still loves her, I was surprised that he said, I did love her. I still care about her immensely, but she's not my person. I was like, oh, okay. He just needed some time, some recul, distance to watch the season and realize, no, we really aren't meant to be. Chris asks him, do you regret anything? Did you make any mistakes? Luke says, no. And the audience just laughs like, wow, really? He's like, no, if I were to do it all again, I would do it the same way. After the break, we come back and he feels like he has to clarify. Okay, maybe I didn't make sense again, which seems to be a pattern with Luke. I learned a lot of lessons. I've grown from the confrontations, from the discussions, from the experiences. I wouldn't change a thing in my behavior because it led me to this newfound clarity, and I don't know what it brought him to, but I can definitely understand that. In life, our biggest challenges do offer up a huge opportunity for growth and learning. Lemons, lemonade, you gotta make it. Did he make it though? I don't know. I feel like he just put his lemons on a shelf. He does mention he regrets lying, that he lied to Luke S., that there wasn't altercation between them. But then he says, it's really difficult on camera, off camera. I was basically bullied. I was neglected. People were throwing jabs my way all the time. Then he says something that just... Day one, I felt like I was on a rescue mission for Hannah. Oh my God. The condescension. So even Chris is like, so what you're saying is you feel like Hannah needed to be rescued? Ooh, some women in the audience were not having it, like, huh? He keeps putting his foot in his mouth. He keeps saying the wrong things. Wow. Such machoism? Is that a word? So macho. And then I loved it. Devin cannot stay silent no more. Devin decides to come up on stage. He's like, hola. Fricka. Record scratch. Y'all need to stop this. He said there are two types of men. There's a man who wants an independent, strong, full woman, basically. A woman who stands on her own 2 feet. And then there are men who want a weak woman. A woman that needs them so that they can control them and feel purposeful in their role as the one in charge. Truer words were never uttered. And he basically says, Luke, you want a weak woman. You want someone you can control. You can easily manipulate. That comes to you for rescue. And I love Devin even tries to be nice. He's like, look, I understand you're young and in youth we make mistakes. But he's like, but you had like a whole season to learn. Even Chris comes in with the shade. I love, bless his soul. Is that what you want, Luke? A woman you can put on a shelf in a glass case and, pull her down when you need her? Luke is quiet. I feel like he was seething in that moment. Like, oh, they are painting me out to be the bad guy right now. Then he keeps saying things. I'm just like, the worst kind of man. He says he wants an independent woman, but in a relationship, a man is supposed to lead a woman. The faces of the ladies. The reactions of the ladies in the audience. Me. Is that so? Are we sheep? Do we need a shepherd? Jesus teaches us to love everyone equally. Luke, you make it so hard. I know men in my family who think this way, and it's disgusting. To the core of my being, I find it repulsive that a man would ever say these words or think that way. Men and women are different in many ways, but equal as human beings. We all want the same things. We want love, recognition, appreciation, respect, purpose. Okay? Relationships are like a seesaw. There are times when one person will carry the other person on their shoulders. They are supposed to support each other. But ideally, you come both with your equal strengths on the same level, two fully formed, fully stable, ideally, individuals, or equally broken, I don't know, whatever works for you. And a healthy relationship is one where both partners help each other and support each other and grow together. There is no leader and no follower. There is no rescuer or hero and victim. That's like codependent relationships, and it's extremely unhealthy. So men, if you've got that savior complex and you want to be a leader, you want to prove yourself, you want to help a woman rise up, or a man. It means you've got issues of self-worth that are very deep. And analyze your behavior and your desires and where they're stemming from. It's usually parent issues. Is it that your father didn't love you or show you enough recognition growing up? Was your mother hard on you and critical? What is it? Figure it out. Figure it out, because that's not healthy at all. Thus wraps up therapy session. Moving on, shall we? Finally, the men come out and we see Ryan. I was like, wait, who's Ryan? I don't remember this boy. He cute though. They introduce everybody. There's claps and cheers for some people, less for others. And Mike is looking so groomed and presidential. He's just like, oh, I know I'm the next bachelor out here. Again, Luke manages to rub them the wrong way by saying, you know what, from the beginning, I just knew I had it in the bag. The guys just put a target on my back, like they just hated me from jump. Mike cuts in like, whoa, excuse me. First of all, you're the one who put that target on your own back by acting the way you do. And you have been given opportunities to change and grow and learn and be better, and you never took them. So shush. Ooh, he calls him a narcissistic, cantankerous, we're pulling out the big words, cantankerous misogynist. Snaps. Now, I'm not all for name calling, but I'm sorry, but boy, if you're gonna insult somebody, do it with some Webster Dictionary words. Then I was shocked. Connor steps in. And I thought Connor is going to be a good boy. I was like, oh, he's preparing to be the next bachelor too. He's, fixing his image. He says, you know what? Let me say something nice to you. It's really brave of you to step up to the plate like this in front of all these people who just want to wring your neck. And then he goes to say, but the way you've behaved this season, da-da-da-da. Basically, all I really, really wanted to say, F you. F you, Luke. You're a psycho and you deserve every insult you get, dude. Oh, okay. Maybe he's not trying to be the bachelor out here. I think that was worse than Mike. That was really harsh. Then Luke does what Luke does best. He backtracks. He changes gears. He is so is he a Gemini? He's just so inconsistent. Now he says, it was really hard for him to watch that season over. He was very out of character. He lied a lot. He was extremely immature. And he asks the guys for their forgiveness. Forgive me for my behavior, and that he wants to change. Is he crazy? Does he think we have amnesia or something? Mike says, first of all, I don't accept your apology. Second of all, your apology is fake because a few seconds ago, you just said, if I had to do it all over again, I would do it exactly the same way. I didn't make no mistakes. Now you're saying you made mistakes? Garrett says, you're like a child who's got his hand in the cookie jar and he apologizes for stealing cookies while caught in the act, basically. Stop apologizing after the fact and actually do the right thing. Maybe try that. Then even Grant steps in, and I love how shady they are with their subtitle, unemployed still. Grant, unemployed, and 30. They're so rude. But Grant's like, yeah, dude, seriously, you got issues. You need to learn no means no. Frickin'. Can we have that on a t-shirt, please? A lot of people still need to learn this lesson, sadly, that no means no. Respect boundaries. That is sexy. Hannah said it when Tyler respected her boundaries. She was all kinds of turned on. Cam, that looking like a little demon, like a little goblin. He steps in to say, oh my God, I just want to thank you, Luke, for being your wretched self because you made me look good. The shade. Oh my God. These guys, they say girls are shady. Men are the best at shade. I think Mike asked Luke if he had apologized to Politico. That's what I call Lucas. Politico acknowledges that he did get an apology, but then the next day, Luke went to tell everybody, you know what, I'm going to tell Hannah that Politico is here for the wrong reasons, and just going on a smear campaign to destroy his image. He just wanted to know, why did you do that? Why? He ain't got no answers. Because the truth is, I wanted to win, I wanted to get rid of you. That's the truth. Then Mateo chimes in. I'm just like, who you again? But it's fair. I like that he chimed in. He had a fair point. He was like, listen, I watched that season and the episodes after I was gone. It was really kind of hard to see how ostracized, isolated, and hated Luke was. That cannot be easy on a person's psyche or morale, and that would contribute to someone acting out and acting worse. That being said, these guys don't turn on each other. He was the only person they turned on. Why? The softest of guys had issues with Luke. Luke has to be held accountable. He has done something. You can't say that he was bullied and he's a victim in this situation. What is he doing to attract all this negativity? But I do agree that there are moments where you could see Luke was in pain from being isolated. It is harsh. Then Chris brings up, okay, let's talk about what matters here. None of y'all are virgins. First of all, this ain't Colton season. None of y'all came into this process virgins. Yet you seem to really take issue with the fact that Hannah, out here doing what she gotta do. Is there hypocrisy? He says, not at all. Chris, think about what you're asking me. Excuse me? You're talking to Chris this way? Child, sit down, step back. That's when he talks about being born again and all that, da-da-da. I'm sorry, I don't know that both of y'all had agreed upon this before y'all started this relationship. Even Jonathan chimes in to be like, look, you and I both connected on being men of faith and all, but watching the season and watching your behavior, you were very unchristian-like. To impose the way you connect with God and how your faith works on others and treat people differently if they don't share the same values as you isn't very Christian-like. And I loved Luke's face during this whole thing. It just looked like, he was like, who are you again? You're shorter than me. You don't even matter. He just had zero respect in his face for Jonathan. But Jonathan had a good point. The essence of all religions basically is respect, right? The way Luke stirs up drama, he clearly is learning. He's 24. Give him a break. He ain't no pastor. He ain't no Jesus, even though he wants to be, and he's definitely got a savior complex. Insecurities. He wants to matter, and he's searching for purpose, but he's doing it in the wrong way. Moving on, Luke gives his final words. He just asks the guys, forgive me. Then there's a break, and we come back after the break, and Luke is still like, I just want to repeat, again. They're like, oh, are you not done talking? He says one last thing. You guys don't know me, and you didn't really get to know me. I would hope that after this process, you could get to know me. I'm like, wait. Y'all ain't friends. Y'all don't have to be friends. Y'all don't have to see each other ever again. Why do you need to win them over? Why do you care at this point? Connor just says, listen, we will forgive you when we see a change.
If you want to be part of the post-Hannah's Bachelor's Club, you're going to have to change your ways, and then we will forgive you, and then we will review your application and invite you back into the inner circle. And we're not adding you to the WhatsApp chat. You're not very nice right now. So, but you still have potential to be part of our group.
So childish. I don't understand this. Boy, apologize and let it die, like the other guy said it. Just let it die. Okay, so then we have this whole sequence with the fan favorite, John Paul John, aka Zelda, or Link, if you want to call him Link. Fan favorite? Why? He's a bro. Anyways, whatever. They show a bro reel. A woman from the audience is wearing a shirt. What would John Paul John do? And she comes down to cut his hair. Weird, awkward, and he doesn't really seem to care about this newfound success, fame, attention. He's just kind of like, look, I was on the show. I got paid to be there. Food, board. Life is good. I love it. He's simple. He's a bro. I don't even feel like he was out here looking for fame like that, He just is weird like this. Obviously, he loves the attention. The way he was throwing them chicken nuggets into the audience, yeah, he was just like, you get chicken nuggets, you get chicken nuggets. That one woman looked terrified. The one who was serving them chicken nuggets, she's like, I didn't come here to get hit with chicken nuggets in the face today. He'll be on Bachelor in Paradise. Yay. Another man-child to add to the entertainment value, I guess. Then we talk to Mike. Apparently everyone loves Mike. Hannah fell for him. Did she though? His reel was all shiny and spotless, just making him look like a smiley, happy, perfect guy. Just such a sweetheart, a gentleman, emotionally available, raised by women. He's just like Prince Charming. And then Hannah, I think he's the only person she cried for when saying goodbye to. Broke his heart. Again, in showing it, him watching it, I didn't see emotion. And then that terrible scene in the car was just like, I gave her my heart. She threw it away. I can't. That scene is just cringeworthy, bad acting. All of this was just branding. He's gonna be the next Bachelor. I just smell it. Then Hannah comes out. Yay, Hannah! I love how Chris asks, so yeah, you had time to watch the season. Did you catch anything that maybe you had missed during the show? Blink, blink, blink. Obviously talking about Luke. So she's like, yeah, okay, fine, about Luke. I thought what she said was extremely interesting. She was extremely nervous about being the Bachelorette. Excited but nervous. She was afraid to disappoint the men. And then she had that love at first sight feeling with Luke. She really felt like he was there for her, that he liked her, and she liked him, obviously. And she just held on to that. And she came into the process with fears about the other guy's intentions, obviously. It makes sense. She had no hesitations about Luke's intentions, which I think is kind of funny because I had strong reservations about his intentions. Now that I think of it, During her whole season with Colton and even leading up to her being the Bachelorette, the one thing that she always put forward was that she's a crazy girl. She's broken inside. She has all these flaws and she tries to keep it all hidden. Luke must have seen that and his spidey sense, his savior sense got a tingling and he was like, this girl is broken. She needs a man to lean on. She needs somebody who's going to fix her. I love her. So yeah, she kept Luke around because it gave her a sense of security that at least I have one guy who is here for me. When it's said like that, when it's viewed through the lens of fear and insecurity, you're like, oh yes, of course. That's why it was hard for her to see him in a negative light. Subconsciously, she doesn't want to, so she's not open to seeing it immediately. Luke apologizes to her and thanks her for teaching him lessons. She says, I appreciate your words, but you need to grow your fruit. She explains how she felt that, yes, they had a shared faith, but she feels like that faith was used against her, that he used it as a weapon to manipulate her, to make her doubt herself. She felt like his love was contingent upon her acting according to a faith that they shared. So it's kind of like he's the faith police, making sure that she's a good Christian in his value system and the way he believes the ideal Christian should act, Then they talk about the whole fantasy suite thing and she's just like, okay, Luke is obsessed with sex, so let's talk about it. And she's just like, it's not about sex, okay? It's about deepening a relationship. It's about progressing things in an intimate way. It's not about the physical. It can be a component, but that's not the purpose. She shaded him when she's like, you didn't have one, so you can't understand. Mama is sick of being treated like she is not a woman of faith out here, being slut shamed. I love the people who had the shirts with the windmill and said, Jesus still loves me. It's cheap, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think I would get a pajama that says that, honestly. It's so cute. Mike steps in to continue his PR campaign. We are all supportive of you, Hannah. Yes, do you, girlfriend, basically. Luke leaves after the break. He just gets up and leaves the podium. He just leaves the stage. Yeah, okay. I mean, why was he there in the first place? It's just Luke bashing. So I understand. He doesn't need to be there for that. Chris says, yes, this is symbolic for moving on. Shade. Hannah then apologizes to Mike. Dumping him felt like she was actually losing someone because she knew that he really cared about her. I think that's why she was upset more than anything. She says he deserves the best and she's rooting for him. She is his fan. Yeah, all keywords. They know. He's the next Bachelor. What do you think? Do you think he's gonna be the next Bachelor? Then Garrett speaks up. He explains how he was upset, obviously, after especially being let go over Luke. Then he watched everything over and he was like, I get it. You were brainwashed, so I don't hold it against you that you made a mistake in letting me go. Girlfriend. Hannah's just kind of like, yeah, we'll say that's why I let you go. She talks about how a lot of women can relate to her circumstance. Women who have been in toxic relationships. When it's good. You ignore the bad. You want to see past it. You want to see the good inside the person you're with, despite how much it hurts you. She says that she has to remember her worth and she has no regrets. Honestly, Luke was a godsend because it has matured her in many ways. She had a very compressed, condensed, speedy, toxic relationship to, I guess, snap her out of her insecurities and remind herself that she needs to love herself first. Like I said, lemons, you make lemonade. Then we had a blooper reel. It's like 5 seconds. Y'all, you have way more bloopers than that. They are stingy on the bloopers. Ugh, but it's still fun to watch. And I just wanted to mention this. You have this moment where Jed is kissing Hannah on the bed and Jed just can't. He can't be in the moment with her because there's the cameraman right there. And it's really creepy. It was just like a reminder, oh my God, yes, this is a show. No wonder Jed, who is actually, like I said during these reviews, he's a real guy. So he's extremely uncomfortable with this process where you have people watching you all the time. How can you be natural? How can you be in love? How can you express emotions when you're scrutinized and watched by some creepy guy who's dressed like a thug, holding a camera over you and just like zooming in and probably heavy breathing while y'all are getting it on? I really understood Jed completely in this moment. Wow. So Chris wants to wrap up the show, but Hannah stops him. She's like, can I say one more thing? And with his elegant shade, he's just like, it's your show, so why not? Hannah just wants to turn to the camera. You know those speeches when presidents mess up and they're just like, I want to address the nation and tell you that I'm sorry for the actions that I've committed against my people, blah, blah, blah. So she basically apologizes to Bachelor Nation for keeping Luke as long as she did, for not seeing clearly, for subjecting all of us to the Luke show. Girl, That's why everybody tuned in, okay? Apologize what? Apologize to yourself and to Jed, okay? Because y'all the two who suffered the most. This was a very satisfying Men Tell All episode. So entertaining. This whole season has been entertaining. I can't wait for the 2-episode finale next week. Oh! Without the Luke drama, it'll be different, but who is she gonna pick? If you've been watching my reviews, you know who I know, who you know, we know. It's gonna be Jed. But how's it gonna go down? Because the others are fantastic. Once the show is over, I am sliding into Peter's DMs. Mark my words. You know where to find me. That being said, what did you think of the episode? What are your thoughts on next week? Comment section below. It's your turn to talk. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again so much for watching, and before you go, please like this video, subscribe to Angel Says the channel if you haven't already, and head on over to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter and follow at Angel Says one word. It's where all the fun is happening. So stay blessed, stay classy, stay fresh, and remember, Jesus loves you. Bye.